Om Namo Shalakaya Chakshu Unmalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Well, would you like to read the English for that?
Who, me? Sorry?
Yeah, if you've got the English there in front of you.
I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with a torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, today we're reading from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, entitled Jnana Yoga, text number 45. Text number 45. And Bhakti Mala, just a quick question. You mentioned there was one couple on the farm, B and her partner.
Yeah, she has to do some. She's doing some Ayurvedic thing this week, but they're still keen to join in. Yeah.
That's good. Just looking forward to meet them sometime.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll just meet them in person.
No, they're definitely keen. It's just she's got some health issues, so she's doing some Ayurvedic treatments. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Good idea. Do it in that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So text 45. Let's recite the Sanskrit. Prayatna dhyatamaнаstu Yogi samshuddha kilbisha Aneka janma samsiddhas Tato yati param gatim. And we'll do it once more. Prayatna dhyata manastu Yogi samshuddha kilbisha Aneka janma samsiddhas Tato yati param gatim. Hey, Bhakti Mala, would you like to read the translation, please?
When the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, then ultimately achieving the perfection after many, many births of practice, he maintains the supreme goal.
So in this section, we've been hearing how if the person that's engaged in self-realization, which here we're calling it a yogi, what is a yogi? Not just meaning someone doing exercises and breathing and that, pranayama, but yogi meaning someone that's endeavoring for self-realization. There's different processes of self-realization. They're named differently because there's some different activities there, but the goal of all of them is to connect with God, and that's the meaning of yoga. Yoga means to link, to connect, so to connect with God. So there's different ways, karma yoga, and through doing different fruitive activities, different sacrifices, and doing your activities and surrendering the fruits or the results of your activities. That's called karma yoga. You do the karma, the action, but you don't enjoy the fruits of the action yourself, but you give it to the Lord. That's called a karma yogi. And jnana yogi. So that's using your own and God-given intelligence and brain, trying to figure everything out. Who am I and who is God and everything like that, using your own mind and intelligence and some speculation and like that, people that like speculating. So they follow that process. And then there's this like jnana yoga, that's like this chapter. So that's using your body a lot. So that's, yeah, when you're doing the exercises and the breathing and meditation and looking within, connecting with the super soul in your heart and things. And then there's bhakti yoga. But they're all different kinds of yogis, but they all have the same ultimate goal, to connect with God, in different ways of connecting. So that's a yogi. So an important point here is that the yogi should be sincere. So we've been hearing in this section how you're trying to progress in spiritual life to go back to Godhead, to get liberated from the material world. But what happens if you don't make it? That was Arjuna's question. What happens if I don't make it in this life? What's going to happen to me? And will I be completely lost like a riven cloud? So Krishna said, no, there's no worries. If you've only progressed a little bit, you'll take birth in a rich family or a family of priests. And if you're very advanced in this life and you die, then you take birth in a family of pure devotees, like transcendentalists, like that. And Prabhupada mentions he had that good fortune. He took birth in a family of Vaishnavas, pure devotees, and his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, also took birth in a family of pure devotee Vaishnava family. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, can't get a better birth than that. It's the best birth in the material world. So yeah, there's no loss, there's no diminution, as we read that verse 240 in the Bhagavad Gita. There's no loss or diminution. So whatever you do to please Krishna, that's kept in your spiritual bank account. And even if you do 40% in this life, you start off from 40 in the next life, and then you build up another 20, another 40 until you're completely purified. But an important point here, as you're progressing life after life, you should be acting sincerely. So that's a point here, sincere, Prabhupada uses. So we should endeavor very sincerely. Means that's really in your heart, that goal. You want to go back to Godhead. You're not just pretending to be a yogi or devotee of some kind for some material benefits. Like some people, they might take to some spiritual path for reasons other than going back to the spiritual world. What could some examples be? Why would some people go to temples or
maybe
yoga studios?
Better wealth?
Yeah, to get wealth. You know, some people approach God for personal motives, to get
stuff.
wealth. To get wealth.
Yeah,
That's a very common one. What's that? Yeah, to get a partner. Oh God, can you get me a partner? Can you help pass my exam?
You will get the partner. You know, in the temple, you will get the partner.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be in our mind as our main objective. It should be a byproduct, you know, that automatically. That should be automatically. You know, like I went to live in the temple in Wellington, and I was a priest there and a preacher there, and going out in Harinam and things like that. And that's where we met Jayanti. But that wasn't my goal of going to Wellington to find Jayanti. But that just happened, you know, just automatically Krishna arranged. I actually said to Krishna in my heart that, Krishna, you know what's best for me, you know, if it's best that I don't get married, you know, please do that, you know, and if it's best that I do get married, please do that. But, you know, I left it completely up to Krishna. I wasn't searching for
I leave it up to the Krishna as well. I've been to temple 500 times. Krishna says, stay alone.
Yeah. So that's right. So we should just accept. And that's part of being sincere, you know, having faith that Krishna's going to maintain us and protect us. And all we have to do is serve Krishna, try to please Krishna. We don't have to do anything to please ourselves. While we're thinking of pleasing Krishna, what's Krishna thinking? What's Krishna doing?
Thinking of devotees.
Yeah, thinking of his devotees. The devotees thinking of Krishna and trying to please Krishna, and Krishna's thinking of the devotees and trying to please the devotees. Oh, my devotee needs some money. You know, I'll help him. My devotee needs a place to stay. My devotee needs some facilities to be able to preach. My devotee needs a partner and, you know, all these things. So, you know, Krishna knows that. You don't have to write out a list and be thinking about it, what I need. Krishna knows what we need. Krishna knows what we need. So we just try to serve him as best we can. And Krishna will take care of us. So that's a sincere that we want to go back to Godhead, and our activities are all directed towards that purpose, to understand more about who we are and who Krishna is and what's my relationship with Krishna, and what Krishna wants from me. And I was hearing Prabhupada saying that, well, someone might say that, well, it was easy for Arjuna because Krishna was there and Krishna told him what to do. But Krishna's not here now, so how do you know what to do? How do you know what activities to do to please Krishna? How do you know what pleases Krishna? Krishna told Arjuna, what pleases me is that you fight for me. I want you to fight. So it was very easy for Arjuna. Arjuna knew what to do because Krishna told him. But we could say that, well, Krishna's not here now, so how do we know what activities I'm supposed to do? What pleases Krishna? So what would you say? Someone said that.
It's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita what's offering, pushpam phalam toyam patram. So we have to do that, and all in the Gita, whatever he says in 780 shloks. So that's pretty much it. That's where the Krishna is not here, but his Gita is there.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely, Krishna's instructions are there for everyone. But those are general instructions. What about details? How do you find out?
You'll get the spiritual master, that representative.
Yes.
On earth.
Yeah. So Prabhupada was saying about, well, we should take the instructions from Krishna's representative, the spiritual master. And Prabhupada himself, he's left us so many valuable instructions and a lot of details in different areas. And then, of course, we have the representative of Prabhupada too. So many Shiksha Gurus, so many that give us good advice, good instructions, following in the footsteps of Prabhupada. So there's actually a lot of guidance available if we want it. If we want guidance about what should I do with my life, what activities should I do, what's going to be the best for me to help me progress going back to Godhead, then Krishna's instructions in the Gita are there. Prabhupada's, so many instructions are given there, and there's videos and DVDs, and there's, and the audio lectures, and then his representatives like that. Like my Guru Maharaj, when I was serving my Guru, one thing he said to me one day is that the way I'm training you, Abai, is the same way that Prabhupada trained me. So, it's the same. You're on the same track. It's on the same track. So as Prabhupada taught him, he's teaching me the same way. And that's the Parampara system.
That's where you are teaching us as well.
And then I pass it on. And the way he taught me, then I teach you.
And to always remember, we are serving Krishna, but we're so lowly. We're actually serving people who are serving Krishna. So we can just approach someone senior to us and say, what can I do to serve you? Because they're serving Krishna, and yes. You can serve in that way as well. I think Krishna seems to give you guidance in that way as well. Like if you approach people for service, and if you just don't know what sort of way to serve, then if you ask someone who is serving, you might be able to serve them, and then
definitely, yeah. You just go, like if you go to any temple or where any devotees are, you just say, oh, Prabhu, I'm looking for some service. Tell me what to do. Give me some activities to do. I said, sure. Here's the pot room. Go to the pots, wash the pots. Or here's a broom, clean the temple. There's so many things. Or help me, we're making garlands for Janmashtami's coming up. We're making some garlands, decorating. And like that, as soon as you connect with devotees, you're going to get heaps of service. And all those activities are pleasing to Krishna. And
then we had a Rath Yatra last Saturday. Before in New Gokula. So they were saying that Even if you put the one flower to the cart, that's it. It's he can see. Jagannath can see. You don't need to decorate the whole. Even if just put one flower,
Yeah.
that he can see that yes, your initiation there, your 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 bhava, your intentions there. Just one flower. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So plenty.
Yeah, we're so lucky, so fortunate. There's so much available in terms of service, so many opportunities to render service, and if we just plug into that and try to engage in some service according to our nature, let's look at a verse about that, how we can serve according to our nature, because we're not all exactly the same. I mean, spiritually we're all spirit souls, that's the same, but we all have different conditioned natures, some more goodness, some more passion, some more ignorance, and that's why we have the divisions of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, because of the different modes of nature. So we can serve Krishna differently according to the different nature we have. So let's look at 18th chapter, the final chapter, text number 46. 46. Gulshan, you could read that, or whoever's got.
The Lord, who is source of all being and who is all providing, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work.
So man includes woman also, of course. So everyone, any human being like that can attain perfection through performing his or her own work. Own work means according to the nature we have, we'll have our own work, So if you're in the mode of goodness, you'll have Brahminical work. If you're in the mode of passion, you'll have Kshatriya kind of work. And if you're, so I'll just explain that. So Brahminical work means more intellectual kind of work, studying and teaching. And so the nature of a Brahmana is to teach. You study and you learn and then you teach it. And it could be not just teaching Bhagavad Gita or something, but teaching anything. A Brahmana is a very intelligent person, so he can teach anything, like Dronacharya, right? He was very intelligent. He was teaching military arts to the Pandavas. He was the martial arts guru. So guru means a Brahmana is a guru. So anyone that's a guru is a Brahmana. They're a teacher. So he was teaching martial arts. I was just hearing recently, and Prabhupada was saying we should establish a Varnashram college. So that's a college, an education for older people, teaching them these different Varnas, how to be a Brahmana, teaching them how to be a Kshatriya, teaching how to be a Vaishya, how to be a Sudra. So a devotee asked, well, would we teach them like how to fight? That's like Kshatriya's kind of part of their work. And who would do that? And Prabhupada said, yes, that also needs to be taught, how to defend the people, how to fight if you need to, like that, like Arjuna was a fighter. And who would do that? So Prabhupada said the devotees. So some, intelligent devotees, they need to learn. They need to learn how to fight and how to protect, and then how to teach that. First of all, of course, they've got to, if they don't know it, they have to learn it, and then the fighting activities, how to do that, and then teach it, pass it on to the students like that. So the same, like some devotees need to learn how to do gardening, how to grow food, and then teach that to others how to grow food, and then that's a Brahmana. So intelligent devotees, they can learn a particular art or skill, as a science, and then teach that to others. And Kshatriyas, they like to give protection to people, and they're more administrators and leaders of a society like that. And politician kind of person. Of course, all the modern politicians are completely corrupt. They're not real Kshatriyas. But that kind of position, the leader and protector of society like that, helping everyone to be peaceful and happy and everything. That's what they're supposed to do. Prabhupada said a leader means how to keep all the subjects happy. That's a real leader. That everyone underneath that leader is happy. That's what a real leader should be like. That all of their citizens, all the subjects or whatever, everyone under their care is happy. Should be happy.
That's not going to happen in Kali Yuga, though, is it? Trying to keep everybody happy.
It's not easy, of course. It's not easy, but some people have that ability.
Yeah.
Of course, they're not given the opportunity in many cases. And now the way it works is democracy, different than before was monarchy. So now the ignorant citizens vote in a leader. So what kind of person are ignorant citizens going to vote in? If you're ignorant, who are you going to vote for?
Ignorant.
Another ignorant person. If for the democracy system to work, the citizens should all be operating on a higher level of consciousness. If they were like if all the citizens were Krishna conscious, then who would they vote for?
Krishna conscious.
A Krishna conscious leader.
Can you imagine if the US president, next one will be a devotee, become a president of the United States? It'll be a wave to all over the world to become a Krishna conscious.
Of course.
Wow.
And if the leader is Krishna conscious, then they'll make everything underneath.
And then the US president.
Yeah.
Wow. It's devotee. Well, great.
But of course, that's one of the symptoms of Kali Yuga is that you have bad leaders, ruling the world. So that sort of goes with it. But still, we have to try. And we can try to still have good leaders. We might not be controlling whole countries in the world and everything like before. But like Yudhisthira he was the leader of the whole world, and then his grandson Parikshit was the leader of the whole world. Now we don't have that. But at least, like when we were managing the farm, we tried our best, that little bubble, to try to make it go better, or the bhakti tree, we tried our best to try to make everyone happy. Of course, it's very hard to keep everyone happy all the time. Like, what do they say? You can please some of the people some of the time, or all the people some of the times, some of the people all the time, but not all the people all the time.
Bhakti tree for the last 5 years. I'm happy. I don't know about the people come to Bhakti tree. Customer, are they happy or not? I don't know. I'm happy.
Yeah. But it's a real art, but at least the leaders should have that intention. Like getting back to this word sincere. They should really sincerely want that all the people be happy. And they're not happy if the people underneath them are unhappy. So that's the real leader.
And Prabhu, I did want to ask, because I'm a bit confused about the Pandavas, because I've been listening to that Mahabharata, and because about about what Yudhisthira was, because he's a Brahmana, right? But then he also fights. So I thought, I didn't know.
Yes, sometimes you can have both a Brahmana and Kshatriya together in one. That's called a Raja Rishi.
Okay.
So he's like a Raja Rishi. Raja means king and Rishi means sage. So it's like a king and a sage together. Yeah. Like a Kshatriya and a Brahmana together. Okay. And that's called Raja. So Yudhisthira was like that, very intelligent. Yeah. And also he could fight as well. Normally the Brahmanas don't fight.
Yeah, that's what
I that for the Kshatriyas. Yeah. But in some cases you have both qualities. Okay. And
were all of them like that, or
no, not all. Not all.
Oh, like all the Pandavas.
All the Pandavas? No, I wouldn't say that.
Arjuna was.
I mean, they're all devotees, but you don't have to be a Brahmana to be a devotee.
Yeah.
You don't have to be. Some devotees, even we have devotees amongst non-humans. So how can they be a Brahmana? Like we have Hanuman was a monkey, and we have Garuda as a bird. Yeah. So you don't have to be a Brahmana or any particular class to be a devotee. Even some Sudras, they're laborers, but they're devotees. They're Krishna conscious, they love Krishna, but they're laborers. They're not very intelligent, and they might just be sweeping the floor of the temple. It's a Sudra kind of activity, cleaning the toilets. But they have devotion for God. They love God. So you don't have to be a Brahmana to go back to Godhead or anything.
So what did you call Yudhisthira?
Raja Rishi.
Ra-
Raja, that's Raja means king, and Rsi means means sage, Rishi.
Okay.
Raja Rishi.
Raja Rishi.
So Rishis are Brahmanas, they're sages, saintly persons.
Arjuna was a
So he's a
Kshatriya.
saintly king.
Arjuna was Kshatriya.
Yeah, he's acting as a Kshatriya, of course.
Yeah.
Actually, any devotee, which we call Vaishnava, is beyond all the classes. You know, a devotee is transcendental. Once someone surrenders their life to Krishna, they're actually transcendental. They're not, you can't really lump them into any category that, oh, they're a Brahmana, they're a Kshatriya, they're Vaishya, like that. But the transcendental devotee is acting in a particular role. So we're just like, you know, you're on a stage, right? You're doing a play and you're acting. So you're just acting out a role. So, but actually, you know that you're not that role, right?
Yeah.
You're playing one. You're playing on the stage. You're playing the role of a king. But you know, in real life, you're not a king. But you're just acting out that in the drama and the play. You're acting that role. So you know you're not the king, but you're acting that role. So devotees are like that. They know that ultimately they're a spirit soul. They're a servant of Krishna. Ultimately, we're not Brahmanas, we're not Kshatriyas. This is just a temporary designation according to the body we have. Ultimately, we're not a man, we're not a woman, we're not young, we're not old, we're not Indian or Aussie or Kiwi. These are just designations. So just in the same way, being a Brahmana or Kshatriya is another designation, just like being a white body or a black body or like that. So, but we still have to act in some role. You can't say, oh, I'm transcendental, I'm a spirit soul, I don't have to do anything. No, I'm sorry, mate. The food's not going to fall out of the sky into your mouth. You know, you have to do some work, you know, to maintain your body. You have to do some work. That's one of the laws of material nature. In the spiritual world, you don't. In the spiritual world, you don't have to do any work. Your spiritual body is maintained automatically. You know, what do we see them doing in the spiritual world? Running around with Krishna and playing all day long. They're just playing it. And at night time, dancing. You know, in the daytime playing, in the nighttime dancing and feasting. That's all they do. They play with animals and things like that, and musical instruments and things, and singing and dancing and feasting, and they all get together and they have big feasts. And so there's no work, you know, but that's in the spiritual world. But in the material world, you have to work. You have to do some activity. So either you work as a Brahmana, or you work as a Kshatriya, or work as a Vaishya, or work as a Sudra. And don't think India only has those classifications. Those classifications are everywhere. We might call it different names. Like in the West, we have an intellectual class, right? What are some examples of the intellectual class?
Doctors.
Scientists, would you say?
Yeah, scientists. That's a perfect example, Bob. Scientists, they're very intelligent people. So that they're like Brahmanas. But of course, they're completely corrupted because of Kali Yuga. So they're teaching all wrong things. Like they're teaching, oh, you come from monkeys, and it started off from a big bang. There's no God in control. It all started from a big bang, and your great-great-grandmother was a monkey, like that. So they're teaching all wrong things, but they're teachers. So that Brahmana means teacher. And to be a teacher, you have to be very intelligent. So, but the thing, because of Kali Yuga, people are so godless, and because of that, their occupations have all become perverted and corrupted. But still, they're intellectuals. So they have the qualities of a Brahmana. They just need to be, you know, properly, you know, trained and properly educated to do that job properly. Okay, what's some examples of, you know, and philosophers also, like philosophers, they're like Brahmanas.
Could you say teachers?
Anyone teaching, any teachers, they're Brahmanas, teaching anything. Yep, Bob?
I said teachers.
Okay, yep. Yeah, so teachers, that's a Brahmana job. Kshatriyas, what's some examples of Kshatriyas I mentioned before?
Would you call tradies?
No, that's Sudra. You know, tradesman is a Sudra.
Like the police.
Sudra. They are a Vaishnava, or the Vaishya. You know,
No, if it's their business, yep. If it's their business, but if you're working for someone else, you're a Sudra. If you work for somebody else, you're a Sudra. The person on top, the person on top that gets all the profit, that's the Vaishya.
Yeah.
Like the CEO, you know, he's the one that gets all the profit or whatever. It's his business.
Elon Musk.
And that's the Vaishya.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, so he's the Vaishya, and everyone that works for him is a Sudra. They might be intelligent Sudras, but they're still Sudras. So you work for someone else, then you're a Sudra. And you have to do what they say, and you don't have much freedom. So that's the problem with the Sudra role. You don't have much freedom. But because they don't have the intelligence to work things out for themselves, it's better they work for someone else. So there's no problem with that. That's their nature, so they're working with that. So, yeah, what are some examples of Kshatriyas?
They're the warriors, the protection, like, you know, all the army we have got.
Yeah, those that like the generals, you know, the generals like that. And I mean, the little soldier, he's a bit you could say he's a Sudra as well.
Yeah.
You know, he's just working for the army, getting told what to do. But the general, you know, the one like that's, and the politicians and that, and administrators, anyone like an administrative sort of role like that, that's more like
Putin is a Kshatriya?
Yeah, once again, corrupted, all corrupted. You know, they don't protect the citizens properly. They're exploiting the citizens, collecting the taxes, enjoying drinking up on the liquor and stuff like that. So that's enjoying the facilities, but not really protecting. Real Kshatriya means they're protecting the people underneath them, like that. And examples of Vaishyas, we said that about like people in charge of a business, they have their own business. And also like protecting cows, you know, you have a herd of cows, like, you know, that Krishna's community he was in, Vaishya, was a Vaishya community base, and his father was Nanda Maharaj. So he's in charge of all the cows and the cow herd people. So he's like a Vaishya. So, you know, and they make a living from that. They make a living from the cows, you know, selling the milk products, the dairy products and things like that, or growing grains, you know. So really Vaishya means someone, a productive class. So we have that, right, in the West. You have people that produce things, you know, they have some business and they're producing something and they're selling it for some profit. So that's Vaishya. So we have that and in every country. And then, like I said, Sudra means laborers. So there's heaps of that. So in Kali Yuga, most people are Sudras. You don't have many Brahmanas and don't have many Kshatriyas. You have quite a few Vaishyas and heaps of Sudras. So it's a bit topsy-turvy, modern day society. And that's why there's so many problems in society, because we don't have the proper Brahmanas to give direction to society. Brahmanas are supposed to give direction to society, and Kshatriya is supposed to protect the society, like arms. So in the Vedas, it compares these different social classes to different parts of the body. So the Brahmanas compared to the head of the body, just like your head gives you direction, right? Okay, I'm going to go over there. If you have a head, if you didn't have a head, then you can't do anything. So, you know, the head gives you direction. I'm going to go over there. And your arms, they protect the body. Like if someone comes to attack you, you'll put up your arms or whatever, and you'll use it to fight off like that. So your arms protect the body. So the Kshatriyas are compared to the arms. And the Vaishyas, what would the Vaishyas be compared to in terms of a bodily part?
Torso?
Yeah, your stomach. Just like your stomach feeds your body. That's why I had a problem, because my stomach stopped working. When I had the appendix blew up, my stomach stopped working. So I had no energy. I couldn't do anything, you know. And yeah, it was like all the plug was taken out of the body. There was like no energy because my stomach was on strike, you know, like that. So the Vaishyas are compared to the stomach. And the Sudras, what bodily part are they compared to?
I'd say it got to be your legs.
Yeah, the legs. Yeah, very good. Bob, you're on fire again tonight. That's amazing. You're doing well. You know, so with the help of your legs, you can get some work done. Your legs do a lot of work. You know, you can carry heavy things around and get stuff done, run here and there and do your work running around. That's what you see in the cities, right? Everyone's running around here and there with the help of your legs, so get the work done. So, and all those, just like all those body parts are necessary, isn't it? You're not going to, I mean, the head is very important, you know, because it gives you direction, right? I mean, you can survive without arms. You can survive without legs, but you can't survive without a head. So actually, if you look at it in that way, Brahmana is the most important person in society. But having said that, still, the best thing is to have your arms and have your legs. Would anyone say, oh, I don't care about my legs, I'll just cut them off? No, of course you do. I don't care about my arms, I'll just get rid of them. No, my stomach, you know, no, they're all valuable. All the parts are valuable. So still, sudras are very valuable, very important. That's the modern day Hindu system is stuffed up. One of the reasons because it's corrupted, because the Brahmanas have become very arrogant, very proud. The higher classes become very proud and very disrespectful to the Sudras, the laborers. Oh, you're untouchables, you know, don't come near me, you dirty Sudra, you know, like that. So not proper respect and cooperation between the different classes. Just like our body, right? Everything cooperates together, right? The arms work together with the head, works together with the stomach, works together with the legs. You don't have your arm rebels, right? No, I'm not going to put the food in the mouth. No, I'm not going to do it. No, like that. So you don't have that, is it? You know, the hand always, you know, puts the food in for the stomach and like that. The legs take you where the head wants to go. You know, so everything's cooperating together. So ideally, that's what we should have. That there's mutual respect, you know, between all the different classes, and they work together cooperatively for the common purpose, ultimately to please Krishna. And that's what it's saying in this verse that we looked at in the 18th chapter, by worship of the Lord. So everyone's working according to their nature to worship the Lord. So that's the common objective. That's the common objective. And because that common objective is lost, like in Kali Yuga now, no one knows about God. No one cares for God. Oh, God is dead. There is no God. Or we're all God. You know, like that. Because the real truth, that common point, that's what unites us all. That's what unites all the Brahmanas, Kshatras, Vaishyas, and Sudras, is that's what we have in common, that we all come from God. We all emanate from God. He's the source of all of us, like it's saying here, right? In this verse 1846. He's the source of all beings. That means he's the source of Abai, and he's the source of Bhaktimala. He's the source of Bob. He's the source of Gulshan. So that's what I'm different from all of you guys, and you're all different than me and whatever. But the one thing we have in common is that we all come from the same source. We all come from Krishna. He's our father. He's our maintainer. He's our best friend. You know, so I'm going to put my energy to please Krishna, and so are all of you. You know, and we're all going to put it in. I can't do it by myself, so you're going to help me. And we're all going, like when we all worked together, right, in the Bhakti tree, it was fantastic what we achieved. And we had wonderful Friday night festivals and that. And we can't do it, you know, just by ourselves, right? You know, we needed help, you know. So someone's cooking, you know, someone's cooking in the kitchen, and someone's leading the kirtan, and someone's serving that, like Gulshan was used to in the beginning, serving out the dal, serving out the soup. You know, so if you don't have that, then it's not going to work, you know. And someone's standing at the door, you know, inviting people in and taking the money and things like that. Someone's looking after the sound system. Someone cleans up afterwards. Someone washes the pots, like Mahabhadra. So, yeah, by ourselves, we can't do it all. But all together, we all have different skills. Like Mahabhadra's skills different than my skills. You know, and the things I can do, he can't do, and the things he can do, I can't do. But you put us together, then it's all there, like that. So that's the idea. Does that make sense? That's ideal society, works like that. Everyone's working together with their different skills and natures. And it's not that we have to become something different than we're not. It's not that Mahabhadra should do my jobs, or I should do Mahabhadra's jobs, like that. That we all have a specific nature of things that. At one time a devotee asked Prabhupada, how do you know what your nature is? Prabhupada said very simply, in a nutshell, your nature is what you like to do and what you're good at doing. What you like to do and what you're good at doing. Sometimes you like to do something, but you're not good at it. So that's not your nature. Like me, you know, playing harmonium like that and the drum even. I'm not, you know, I might like to do it, but I'm not very good at it. You know, so, or you might be good at something. Like I was good at being a land surveyor. I did that job for a while, but I got trained up to be a land surveyor. And I was very good at it. My boss was happy with the results I did, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Because what I like is talking about Krishna and everything like that. So I wasn't able to do that. So I was very frustrated. I was doing a job that I was very good at, but I didn't like it at all. And inside I felt very unhappy. And because I was unhappy, then everyone around me was unhappy. Like that. So it's both, you know. And if you don't like your job and you're not good at it, that's a double whammy disaster. And we have a lot of that in modern day society. You have people doing jobs that they're not good at it and they don't like it also. So and then they're suffering and everyone around them suffering, you know. But in Krishna consciousness, that's what we find out about who we are, both spiritually, that we're a spirit soul servant Krishna, and even materially, that okay, I'm in the mode of goodness, or I'm in the mode of passion, or I'm in the mode of ignorance, and I should work like that, you know. So and knowing what to do, you know, like we first started off saying, that guidance comes from the representative of Krishna, like the spiritual master will see, oh, I can tell Abhay is like this, you know, so we'll get him going out distributing books and, you know, preaching and things like that, you know. So, you know, the more advanced devotees can see what conditioning we have. Oh, there's a bit of passion there, or we better engage him according to that, or there's some ignorance there, we'll get him just, you know, washing pots for a while, you know, and like that, clean the floor and like that. So they can see what the nature is, and there's nothing wrong with anything. Like you can be a brahmana waving the incense on the altar and the ghee lamp, and you can go back to Godhead, and you can that's brahmana kind of work. And you can be cleaning the toilets for the devotees and everything, and sweeping the floor and everything, putting out the rubbish bin, putting out the rubbish for Krishna, and go back to Godhead. So from Krishna's point of view, he just accepts whatever you're doing, because the main thing he's interested in is love. You know, if you're sweeping the floor with love or waving the incense with love, you know, that's what he wants. He's not saying, oh, I like this one that's waving the incense, but I don't like the one that's putting out the rubbish. You know, anyone that does anything with love for him, he enjoys that, and you'll become eligible to go back to Godhead. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so let's get back for our verse for today. We talked about being sincere endeavors. So 6:45. So that's an important point. You know, spiritual life is not just doing nothing, because a lot of people think that spirituality means you give up all your work, isn't it? Give up your job, give up your work. I know a lot of modern day yoga teachers, they think like that, and I've heard them say that they're going to give up their job. And, you know, when they become a yoga teacher, a lot of them think like that. I just give up my work, give up my job, and they struggle, and they really struggle, because that's not natural. But yeah, spiritual life doesn't mean giving up your work, because that's what Arjuna thought, right, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, this work of fighting is very troublesome. I'm going to give up my work. I'm just going to go to the forest and become like a sannyasi, like a monk. And Krishna's chastised him, said, you're a fool, Arjuna. You're a fool, Arjuna, if you think you can just give up your work and go to the forest and things are going to work out. They're not. Krishna said to him, you'll be forced, Arjuna, by your nature to work as a warrior, as a fighter. That's your nature. You can't escape it. You might think you're going to escape it by going to the forest, but there'll be a fight there that you're going to get into, because that's you can't run away from your nature. So So yeah, how did we get onto that point? What was I saying? Yeah. Everyone has to do their endeavor. Yeah, has to endeavor. You can't stop working. You can't stop working. But we just want to connect our work with Krishna, find out what our natural work is according to the physical body and the mentality that we have, our conditioned nature. Work according to that. Do it for Krishna's pleasure. Just for Krishna's pleasure. That's sincere endeavor. So we're doing it we're doing the activity just to please Krishna. So that's sincere endeavor. So that's what a yogi does, and by doing that, we make progress. We make progress. What progress towards what? Progress means you're going from A to B. So we're going for what's the yogi's progress? You're going from where are we now? Does anyone know where we are?
We are. You're in New
We're
Zealand.
in the material world. So we're on Earth in one tiny universe amongst many universes in the material world, which is like a prison house.
And it's a station where you have to spend 70, 80 years and then depart.
Yeah. Do you know what the Vedic name for this planet that we're on is called in Sanskrit? Do you know what it is? Or you could give the English translation of it.
Hastinapur.
No, I mean that was the capital. That was the capital of the Earth 5,000 years ago, which is New Delhi now. So, but the actual name for this planet where we're living, in case you ever wondered, according to the Vedas, is Martya Loka. Martya. Martya. M-A-R-T-Y-A, and then Loka, L-O-K-A. So L-O-K-A, Loka means planet. So there's Chandra Loka, means the moon planet. Surya Loka means the sun planet. So Loka is planet. And Martya, very, very special meaning we have for our planet. Martya means this is a planet of death.
Yeah.
Where do you live, Abai? I live on Martya Loka, the planet of death. So everyone has to die, so that's where we live. So where do we want to progress towards? From where we are now, the planet of death,
to
the spiritual world, go back to Godhead, to Vaikuntha Loka. So that's again Loka, planet of Vaikuntha. Kunta means anxiety. Vi means without. So without anxiety, that's where we want to progress towards. Now I'm full of anxiety because I have to grow old and I have to get disease like appendix and then I have to die ultimately. Everything is finished, so, and then if I don't get it together, take birth again and go around again. So that's where we are now. So we want to get from all that anxiety. We're full of anxiety. This is called, all these planets in the material world are called Kuntha. They're all places of anxiety. So we want to go from that to the Vaikuntha, without any anxieties. Because why is there no anxiety in the spiritual world? Because there's no birth, no old age, no disease, and no death. And no stupid politicians. I just had to throw that one in, because
what is it? Every step is a dance, and every word.
Yeah. In the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma says every step is a dance in the Vaikuntha. Every word is a song, and every tree is a desire tree that fulfills all your desires. Like if you go up to the lemon tree in the spiritual world and you desire mangoes, it will give you unlimited mangoes from a lemon tree.
I was thinking about mangoes too. I was thinking about having mangoes on trees.
Oh, okay. What fruit do you want, Bob?
Well, mango would be my favourite. I'd be very happy with that.
Mango too. Wow, we all like-minded. What about you, Gulshan? What fruit would you like?
Well, I like mango. It's okay, but the watermelon.
Okay, watermelon. So you could go to the grapes vine, and it will give you watermelons. From a grapevine. So they can give you anything, any desire, and every cow is a sarabi, like wish fulfilling.
Unlimited milk.
Unlimited milk and flavors of milk and varieties and tastes, and even not just milk, even other things also. So it's a very amazing place. And because people have no information about the spiritual world. Therefore, they think that they're happy here in this planet of death. They think, well, this is all there is. There's nothing more than that. I better try and enjoy it as much as I can because there's nothing else, right? But wrong. There's a lot better. There's a lot higher standards of life. Even if you go up to the heavenly planets in the material world, a lot higher standard of life. And then if you enter into the spiritual light, the Brahmajyoti, that's a better life. And then if you go into the spiritual planets, it's a better life. And then if you go to the highest planet in the spiritual world, that's called Goloka Vrindavan. That's called Goloka. Like I said, there's many lokas, planets. So Vaikuntha means many planets, and that they have four-handed Narayan forms there. Lord Narayan is there, and Lakshmi, goddess of fortune, and the servants have four hands like that. But at the topmost planet of all of those planets in the spiritual world, the highest one is called Goloka. That's where Krishna lives. And then they have 2 hands, not 4, like the other planets. And that's the supreme planet of bliss and loving relationships with Krishna. There you can serve Krishna not just as a servant, because in all those other spiritual planets, everyone is a servant and Narayan is your master. But in the Goloka, you have other relationships. There, you can be the friend of Krishna, the friend of God. It means you're like equals. Sometimes Krishna will ride on your back and play games like that, Krishna piggyback ride. And sometimes you will ride on Krishna's back and Krishna will carry you around because you're friends, you're equals. And sometimes you'll steal his lunchbox and he'll steal your lunchbox and like that. So you can be a friend and equal to God. And then you can be a parent of God, means superior. So you're the father of Krishna and say, hey, Krishna, bring me my shoes. And Krishna will carry your shoes on his head and he's carrying your shoes. Or like, Mother Yashoda tied Krishna up when he's naughty, stealing the butter and smashing the pots and everything. And you can be the lover of Krishna like that. And that's all on Goloka, the planet of cows. So yeah, that's where we want to progress from, the planet of suffering and death to the planet of cows. So who wants to stay on the planet of suffering? Put up your hand. If you want to go to the planet of cows, put up your hand.
Yeah.
All very intelligent people
Good
here.
start.
So the first thing is we have to know about it, and then we can make steps towards it. And how do you make steps towards it? That's sincere endeavor. And the best endeavors to do now in Kali Yuga, in this Kali Yuga planet of death, is the best endeavor. What's the best endeavor? Most recommended endeavor.
Go back to Godhead.
But the activity though to get there. What's the most recommended activity to go back to Godhead?
Chant and be
Yes, chant Hare Krishna. So we should especially try to sincerely chant Hare Krishna. That just for the pleasure of Krishna. Like Prabhupada, many times he gave a translation for the meaning of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Does anyone know what Prabhupada said the meaning of the Hare Krishna Mantra is?
Oh Lord, please engage me in your service.
Yeah. Oh Lord, please engage me in your service, and also energy of the Lord, because you're addressing Hare as the energy of the Lord, like Radha or Hare is the energy, the feminine energy of the Lord, and Krishna's male, the Lord. So, oh energy of the Lord, Hare, and oh Lord Krishna, please engage me in giving you pleasure, you service. That's Rama. Rama means pleasure. So everyone is thinking, that God, give me pleasure. But that's actually not what we should be thinking. Not, oh Rama, you are Rama. You please my senses. That's what most religious people think. God, you do something for me to give me pleasure. But actually Rama, we should think of Rama in the sense of, let me give you pleasure. Let me give you service. Let me serve you and please you. Not please me, but please you. But of course, what we know is, if we please God, if we please Krishna, how are we going to feel? Are you going to feel unhappy?
No, we got to get pleased.
Yeah. If you please him, you're automatically pleased. Why are we automatically pleased if he's pleased? How does that work? What's the logic of that?
Because we are part of it.
Yes, that's it. Oh, Bob, Gulshan's on fire now. That he's got it, because we're part and parcel of him. So when Krishna's pleased, he's the whole, then the part and parcel automatically becomes pleased. So that's what we should sincerely chant Hare Krishna. Oh Hare Radha, oh Krishna, please engage me in serving you. I want to please you. For so many millions of births, millions of lifetimes, I've tried to please myself and I've suffered and failed miserably. Now, due to the causeless mercy of my spiritual master, has shown me that I should please you. So, please engage me in your service like that. So like that, we can think like that. Very humbly, chant very humbly, for so long I've served Maya and served illusion and tried to please my lust and greed and anger and so forth. And I've suffered so much and I've turned away from you. But now, due to the mercy of my spiritual master and Krishna's causeless mercy, has shown me how I can go back to Godhead and serving Krishna. Yeah.
It's difficult as well because I know for myself, it must be for so many lifetimes I've been so selfish, and to try and serve selflessly, in that pure way. It's not easy when you.
No, because we're conditioned souls, right? So that we've been conditioned to that lust and greed, anger and envy and pride and that for many lifetimes, acting selfishly. So it takes time. That's why patience is a virtue, right? We have to be patient. That's a very favorable thing. It's going to take a little time, but we should, if we just do these activities the very best we can, then slowly we'll get purified. And that's why this section of the Gita is talking about that it may take some time. That's what this section is all about. It may be more than one life till you become perfect. Just be patient. It might take some births. Of course, Prabhupada said, he put his magazine, right, Back to Godhead. So that's the goal, right? We want to do it in this lifetime. That's what Prabhupada said, go back to Godhead in this lifetime. Don't wait. Don't think, I'll take it easy. I'll just slowly do a little bit of service once every now and again, like the Christians, right? I'll just go to the temple on a Sunday for a couple hours and you go to the arti and take prasad, and then I'll go back to, sex, drugs and rock and roll. Now that's going to take many lifetimes to go back to Godhead. What we should think is that I've had enough, I've suffered enough. I don't want to come back again. I don't want to come back and be born again in the material world. I want to go back to Godhead. So we should have that determination. So at the same time, you're patient, realizing that, wow, I've been conditioned for a long time, it's going to take time. But at the same time, you're determined. You're determined that I want to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. That's my goal. In this lifetime, when this body dies, that I'm going to go to Goloka. I'm not going to come back. And also another good quality is enthusiastic. So that's what it's saying, sincere endeavor. So you're very enthusiastic, and at the same time you're patient and you're very determined. So that's mentioned in the Nectar of Instruction, that there's 6 things that are very favorable to the perfection of successive devotional service. And those are the first 3 I mentioned: enthusiasm, determination, and patience. And then the next one mentioned...
Does passion fit in there?
Passion means, so that's enthusiasm. Enthusiasm means passion, but you're directing it very intelligently. So it's using the passion, the energy that we have very intelligently, to give us the best benefit to please Krishna. If you use the passion stupidly, just for your sense gratification, then you're going to suffer. But if you use that passion you can't be enthusiastic without some passion, but you've got to use it very intelligently with knowledge. So it means there's knowledge there, using that passion with knowledge, with intelligence. So that these things are very favorable. Be enthusiastic, at the same time very determined, at the same time very patient. And then tat karma pravartana means engage, following and doing all the recommended activities. Doing all the recommended activities, like getting up early in the morning, we should do that. That's favorable. Associating with devotees, that's favorable. Take prasadam, that's favorable. Like that, trying to help other people become Krishna conscious and preaching work, that's favorable. So like these are the recommended activities, so we should do that. And then avoiding, then it's mentioned avoiding the association of non-devotees, that's favorable. To give up the association of non-devotees. Of course, we meet so many non-devotees, and at work or in the home environment, even maybe some non-devotees, and all over the place. So it's not that you can't ever see a non-devotee. That's not possible, and we're supposed to try to help the non-devotees become devotees, but we shouldn't intimately associate with non-devotees. Intimately means very materialistic people, not intimately connected with them in terms of maybe eating food that they cook, because then we might get their materialistic consciousness become transferred to us if we eat food cooked by very materialistic people. And taking all kinds of gifts and everything from them. That was one of the problems. Bhishma was a devotee. Bhishma is a devotee of Krishna, and Dronacharya also, intelligent Brahmana. But they become corrupted. Do you know how they became corrupted? Those devotees became corrupted.
They were eating that from Duryodhana's meal.
Yeah, so they ate the food provided by a very evil person, by Duryodhana. And they also were taking salary, wages. They were getting payment from him. So, if you're taking money and gifts and that from evil people, then you become indebted to them. You can't, just do what you want. You're obliged. Okay, he's paying me. I have to do what he wants. So then you become, contaminated by that potentially, and also taking food from them. And so that we just have to watch out with that intimate association. Actually, it's said that the devotee should give their association to the non-devotee, but not taking the non-devotee's association. Do you understand that? Mm. So we're giving Krishna's mercy to the non-devotees, but we're not taking, you could say, their mercy, which is not really mercy. So we're not taking their energy. We're giving, like, what do we give to people? Not that also we're thinking, oh, I'm a very great devotee. I've got so much to give the non-devotees and I'm going to uplift them, purify them. Not like that. But we're just giving Krishna to them. How does a devotee try to uplift others, non-devotees? We give them Krishna's prasadam. We give them Krishna's holy name. We give them Krishna's book. So we're just like carrying Krishna to the people. Not that we think, oh, I'm very holy, I'm very sacred, I'm going to purify everyone by my association. Not like that. But we just give Krishna to them. Please take prasadam. Please come to the temple and chant Hare Krishna, or chant Hare Krishna at home. I'll teach you how to chant at home Hare Krishna. I'll teach you how to offer food at home, to Krishna, like that. Oh, please here, read this Bhagavad Gita, like that. And that way we're giving, Krishna's association to them, but not taking on their bad qualities. There's not going to help us if we take on their bad qualities, and it's not going to be good for them either. If they are a cause of our fall down, that's not going to be good for them. And if we fall down, that's not good for us. So like that. And then the sixth one is mentioned, a favorable thing, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, so following in the footsteps of Prabhupada Bhaktisana Saraswati, like that, of all the pure devotees, you know. As they have done, we try to do, you know, we follow in their footsteps, like that. So these are the things that's favourable for our progress, because this is what the verse is mentioning, further progress. So that's, if we want to progress in spiritual life, those are the things we should be doing. Do you remember? So what are the 6 things that's going to help us to progress in spiritual life?
Patience, determination, enthusiasm, recommended activities.
Yeah, the recommended activities, yeah.
And that's all I've written. That's all I've written down.
Just being very careful about the association of non-devotees, not intimately associating with non-devotees, and then following in the footsteps of the previous great devotees, you know. As Prabhupada has done, you know. Whenever we see a picture of Prabhupada, what has he got in his hand?
His beads.
Chanting.
His beads, you know. So, I should do like that too. You know, so we imitate others, right? You know, you imitate, you have a role model, right? You know, who's your role model? You know, whoever it is, you're going to try to be like them, right? Like some people, their role model is Elvis Presley, right? So what do?
Become Elvis Presley.
You have a haircut like Elvis, you dress like Elvis and everything like that. So if your role model is Prabhupada, what are you going to do? Okay, well, you're going to shave your head and you're going to, you know, put on tilak and wear robes and, you know, have a seeker and all these kind of things. So, because he's your role model. So depending on who your role model is. So like that's what it means. We follow them, you know. He got up early in the morning. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get up early. He read the scripture, Vedic scriptures. What am I going to do? I'm going to read the Vedic scriptures. He chanted Hare Krishna. What am I going to do? I'm going to chant Hare Krishna. So like that. He was always trying to help other people. He felt very compassionate for people suffering without Krishna consciousness. So what am I going to do?
Helping the same way.
Same.
Yeah. So you try to understand the mood. You try to understand the mood of those great devotees. What's in there? What makes them tick? What's in their heart? What's their mood? Were they just sitting around in a comfortable place that was good for them? You know, he could have sat in Vrindavan, the best place on the planet, sat in Vrindavan, comfy as. He was living in a beautiful temple, very old temple, simple but nice, very mode of goodness, getting prasadam from the deities, no problems whatsoever. Oh, yeah, I can just kick back, you know, chant Hare Krishna here. I'm going to have a good life and just leave my body, go back to Godhead. If you die in Vrindavan, you're going to automatically go back to Godhead. But what did he do? He gave all that up to try to help us. And that's the only reason why we're here today. Otherwise, I'd be drinking beer down at the local pub.
He never stopped living by example, did he?
Yeah, he was teaching by example, and he was always trying to help others, you know. So we try to imbibe that ourselves, you know. So that's what it means, following the footsteps of the previous acharyas. So try to not just imitate their activities. So I'm going to look like Prabhupada. No, you're not going to do that. You know, I'm going to go around and carry a walking stick because Prabhupada had a walking stick, so I'm going to have walking. No, it's because he's an old body, you know. So don't imitate him. It's said that you shouldn't imitate the great person, but you should follow their instructions. You understand the difference between imitation and following? So the recommendation is to follow their instructions, not just try to imitate their behavior. Because there's things that Prabhupada did that we can't do. Like, you know, he had tears coming out of his eyes sideways. Can you imitate that? You could hide some water pistols behind your ears and then do like that. No, so that's not recommended. But, you know, we should try to follow his instructions. So he said, Prabhupada said, get up early in the morning, attend Mangalarti, chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 related principles, try to spread Krishna consciousness. So that's what it means to follow the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Do like that. And then one thing I want to mention, because like I said, this section has been saying, you know, it's indicating that it may take many births to go back to Godhead. That's what this section is indicating. But this was spoken when? 5,000 years ago, really before Kali Yuga began. But so this was the situation before Kali Yuga began, that it can take many lifetimes to go back to Godhead. But something changed. I'll give you a clue. Something changed about 500 years ago.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. that changes the whole ball game. The whole ball game is now changed from taking many births to go back to Godhead to we can go back to Godhead by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this one life. That's why Lord Chaitanya said, Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurtasaya Namaha. He's the most merciful of all the incarnations, of all of them. And there's many. There's Matsya, the fish incarnation, Varaha, the boar incarnation, Kurma, the turtle incarnation, Nrsimha, the lion incarnation. There's unlimited, there's more incarnations come to the material world. Krishna different forms, there are stars in the sky, grains of sand on the earth. Every species of life, Krishna comes and incarnates. But of all of them, Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful. Why? Because he freely gives love of Godhead on the spot. If you just chant Hare Krishna. The qualification to go back to Godhead in this lifetime is you just keep somehow or other, just keep chanting till you die. You just keep chanting. And even if for some reason, even if you don't keep chanting, but if you have chanted, somehow or other, he's still going to arrange that you go back to Godhead. He's just so merciful. It's just, the things have changed. Don't think, you read these old Vedic books, it takes many lifetimes, slowly progressing like that. No, now things have changed because Lord Chaitanya has come. If you just take up this Hare Krishna movement by chanting Hare Krishna and try to stay in the association of devotees, chant Hare Krishna, take prasadam, like Prabhupada said, chanting, dancing, and feasting. This is the formula. You can go back to Godhead in this lifetimes, not after 5 lifetimes, at this lifetime. So don't see this and think, oh my God, it's going to take many lifetimes like that. Yeah, this is the general rule, but we're living in a very special time. We're so lucky. Only 500 years after the most merciful incarnation, Lord Chaitanya. It said the dust is still settling down from their dancing like that. It's like it wasn't long ago. We can go now to India and you can go to where the tree that he was born under, that he not born as normally, but he appeared under, tree, the neem tree, so that tree is still there. Oh my God, the tree that he appeared under. And the places that he performed pastimes. I mean, it's such a special time when we can't believe it. If you just take up what Prabhupada has said, 100%, you can go. There's full possibility. We can all go back to Godhead at the end of this lifetime. And I'm not just exaggerating, and that's, verified by the Chaitanya Charitamrita, by the scriptures, all about the Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. I mean, oh my God, Lord Chaitanya liberated back to Godhead meat eaters, drunkards, womanizers. They went back to Godhead, and what to speak of us? We can do it, chanting 16 rounds a day. You mean the bloody meat eater, drunkard goes back to Godhead, but the guy chanting 16 rounds can't? Isn't it? Think about it. But the thing is, if the problem is, even if devotees don't know about Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, so I highly recommend, you should hear about Lord Chaitanya too. You should, those golden books that Prabhupada wrote, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's 9 of them. Adi Lila, Madhya Lila, Antya Lila. So you should read about Lord Chaitanya. He's so kind. One time Prabhupada started talking about Lord Chaitanya, and he only could keep talking for about 2 minutes because he just broke down crying in ecstasy. He's so kind, he's so kind, he's so kind. And Prabhupada just started crying, and then he becomes stunned, like that. So very important to have an understanding. You have to know Lord Chaitanya in Kali Yuga, and you have to be a follower of Lord Chaitanya in Kali Yuga and chant Hare Krishna, and then you're going to go back to Godhead. If someone doesn't know Lord Chaitanya in Kali Yuga, that is miserable. that is a hopeless case, miserable, lost cause. And that person is going to be punished by Durga, by Maya Devi, you know, if they haven't come in contact with Lord Chaitanya. But if you've come in contact with Lord Chaitanya, you're very fortunate, and you chant Hare Krishna. You're blessed, fully blessed. So we try to connect people with Lord Chaitanya. We try to connect people to chant Hare Krishna, take prasadam, understand to understand, you know, Lord Chaitanya. Does that make sense?
Very.
So don't become despondent. Oh God, if I read this section of Bhagavad Gita, it's going to take me many lifetimes. No, this is a different situation now. Thanks to Lord Chaitanya has rewritten the rules, because this is Krishna's rules. But Lord Chaitanya is Krishna also, but in the mood of Radha. And Radharani is more kind than Krishna. She's the feminine aspect of Krishna. She's very kind. She said, no, Krishna, not many lifetimes, one lifetime. Just chant Hare Krishna, back to Godhead, like that. So we're very fortunate. So it's only a very short purport. Let's just read it. So Gulshan, you want to just read this purport?
Yeah. A person born in particularly the riotous, aristocratic, or sacred family become conscious of the favorable condition for executing yoga practice. With determination, therefore, he begins his unfinished task, and thus he completely cleanses himself of all material contamination. When he is finally free from all contamination, he attains the supreme perfection, Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the perfect stage of being freed from all contamination. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7, chapter verse 28. This one. After many births of executing pious activity, when one is completely free from all contamination and from all illusory dualities, one become engaged in the transcendental loving service of Lord. But 99% people on this planet, they don't know what we're talking about. So,
I know. So that's our job. You know, you're wondering what is my endeavor supposed to be as a devotee of the Lord? What should be my endeavor? Means your activity. So what activity should it be? That is the activity. You have to go out and let these people know about Lord Chaitanya. You have to go out and let people know about the holy name. Otherwise, I tell you, they're up the creek. They're completely stuffed. You know, I mean, if there's a section in the Chaitanya Charitamrita where the person in charge of the material world, her name's Durga, Lord Shiva's wife, she comes to test Haridas Thakur, who was the chief associate of Lord Chaitanya for the purpose of propagating the holy name. And he was chanting 192 rounds of the holy name a day. He's the top standard he was setting, ideal example. Anyway, she came testing him. She's beautiful. She's like the most beautiful woman in the whole material world, and she's like created the material world. And then she tested him in her alluring form, trying to awaken some lust in his heart. And he was just chanting Hare Krishna, and he was oblivious to her effort to try to seduce him. And she proposed to him, you know, you're a very handsome young man, you know, and I am also a woman. I desire your company, and let's unite together and like that, be happy and everything. But he didn't get sucked in, you know. And then she came 3 days in a row to test him, and then she was defeated, you know, by him. And then she was so impressed, and she like gave all respect to that devotee Haridas, and said, you know, that this chanting of Hare Krishna is just so wonderful, so glorious. She was praising the chanting of Hare Krishna and the followers of Lord Chaitanya, and she said that anyone that does not take up this Krishna consciousness movement in Kali Yuga by chanting Hare Krishna, I condemn them that they will stay in the material world for hundreds of kalpas. You're going to freak out if I tell you how long a kalpa is. So a kalpa, one kalpa is 4.32 million years times by 1,000.
Oh.
And she said that if someone in Kali Yuga doesn't follow Lord Chaitanya, doesn't chant Hare Krishna in Kali Yuga, then she's going to keep them in this prison house of the material world for hundreds of those kalpas. So that's what I mean. I'm saying it politely, that they're stuffed, if they don't become. So that's our job. Our sincere endeavor is you got to connect everyone you can. They've either got to take prasadam at least once in their life. They've got to hear the name Krishna at least once in their life. They've got to have at least one of Prabhupada's books, have touched the book, or got a book at home, some connection with Krishna, or they've done some service for a devotee or something, some kind of connection, as many people as possible. We should be trying to connect them. Doesn't mean they all have to become pure devotees and chant 16 rounds or whatever, but some kind of contact with Lord Chaitanya, some kind of contact with Krishna. They've had some Krishna's prasadam like that, or chant the holy name, or a book, or something like that. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So we're going to try to make these very unfortunate people fortunate, because we were also very unfortunate until we got connected with Krishna. Now we've become very fortunate, and that's our only job remaining. Otherwise, we've got nothing to do. We're just waiting to go to Goloka, waiting to go back to Godhead. The only thing we have left to do is to try to help others also become fortunate. And don't forget, the only reason why we're fortunate, why?
Because of Krishna.
Well, because of Krishna, and
And
Krishna sent someone to save our backside from being roasted. So to the devotees reached out to us. The devotees reached out to us and told us something about Krishna, or gave us prasadam, or invited us to come to a restaurant or a temple, or gave us a book or something like that, So that someone extended their mercy to us, representing Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. Someone representing them extended themselves to try to help us. So we should also extend ourselves to try to help others. So that's what Prabhupada dedicated his life to, try to help people, connect them with Lord Chaitanya in the holy name. And we also, if we're real followers of Prabhupada, we should try to do the same thing. It doesn't mean we have to be big preachers or sannyasis or whatever, but just whoever you meet, just try to somehow introduce them to the holy name, or prasadam, or the philosophy, the books, or something like that. And that's not hard to do. That's not hard to do. And then that's how you really get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. If you really want the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, you do what he did, which was try to spread Krishna consciousness. Lord Chaitanya was always trying to spread Krishna consciousness. And if we take up that same work, then he's going to just throw buckets of mercy on you. I mean, recently at this protest in Wellington, I just tried to distribute prasadam to as many people as we could. We distributed about 2,000 plates of food every day for 2 weeks. And I was just in ecstasy. I just felt that Lord Chaitanya is just throwing buckets of nectar. Well, I've never felt so much ecstasy in my life on a continual basis. It was like just 2 weeks of bliss. I've had moments of bliss, but this was like 2 weeks of bliss. And just because you're just giving out the mercy, just pump out the distribute. That Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and you're going to get so much back, so that's our mission. If you're wondering, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do with my life, well, it's right there. Just try to help give Krishna to others. There's a lot to do, because there's like 6 billion, as Gulshan's pointing out, 99%. There's about 6 billion people out there, Gulshan, that you've got to reach out to. So I don't think you're going to be bored for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But even if you can't go around the world, at least reach out to the ones in Newcastle.
No
Yes,
pressure,
not.
Dilshan.
Sorry, what is it?
No pressure.
No, but enthusiastic.
6 million will take you a little while. But
At
no,
least,
billion.
you know, at least a few 100,000 around you in Newcastle. They're yours, Gulshan.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. But that's exciting, you know, that's a big responsibility, but that's our mission, you know. So we try our best, you know, we depend on the Lord, and the Lord will help us. But we just try, you know, whether we're successful or whatever. But we just try, and just by making that endeavor, like it's saying, it's just the endeavor. It's not talking about the result. You don't have to have a sincere result, but you just have to make the sincere endeavor. Your result might be hopeless, useless, but you got to make the sincere effort. You got to put the effort in. Like Krishna said to Arjuna, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. Even if Arjuna had lost in the Battle of Kurukshetra, they failed. But that, from Arjuna's point of view, it's still a success because he did what Krishna wanted. Whether the result, that's up to Krishna. Whether you make one devotee or 100 or 1,000, that's up to Krishna, not up to you. But you just have to try. Just have to try. And that's already a success. As soon as you try to please Krishna, that's all, you're already won. You're already successful. Anyway, I'll leave you with that exciting thought. And great to be with you all again. And we look forward to personally being with you and giving you all a big hug
Yes.
when we come here.
great. Be lovely to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Okay, you all take care until we
Hare
see you soon.
Krishna.
Krishna.